So welcome, welcome. Please do say hello. This is, of course, live, and we want to make it as interactive as possible. If you don't know what CEO Diaries is all about, this is really a session where I lift the lid on what's happening behind Future Females and maybe what you're seeing on Instagram and the marketing we're putting out there around the launch that most of you know we're working up towards. It's now been 9 months of working towards the launch of our new platform, which is a tech platform for founders to connect with each other, to connect with courses, challenges. We'll speak more about that. Obviously, we're very excited and love that you're engaging so much with our marketing content. But I don't want to do you a disservice by only showing you the perfect collateral that's been designed and approved and then posted. So this session is the raw, real account of what we're struggling with, what's working, what tough decisions are being made. And as you can see, it's not just me. So this session, I'm particularly excited because I actually have our lead ambassadors from Pretoria joining me, Anandie and Esmari. And we're going to be discussing community building, the pros, the cons, the struggles, and also what you can expect. So Anandie and Esmari, thank you firstly. Very excited to have you on here.
Thank you so much.
So Anandie and Esmari, gosh, they've been ambassadors for 2 years now. So that's 24 months of consistent events. So they have a lot of learnings to share. Guys, this is interactive, as I said. I can see people saying hello. We've got Renato and Umi and Juliana and Abraham, Tamron. Guys, welcome, welcome. This is a session where you get the information that you need from us. So ask your questions, also share your learnings, and there is a prize. One of you is going to be awarded in this session at the end your choice of Future Females merchandise. So maybe you love this t-shirt, maybe you love or that t-shirt or that t-shirt. Amazing. It's like this was fun. Maybe you love the water bottles or the tracksuits. Whoever engages the most or really shares vulnerably their story and experiences, we're going to award you that prize at the end of the session. So just so you know, that's coming. Let's get stuck in. I think let's start by way of introductions. Anandie and Esmari, if you just want to share a little bit of who you are, what you do, and your journey to becoming a Future Females ambassador.
Absolutely. Esty, you want to go first?
Yeah, so this is a problem. Hi, everybody. We're so excited to be here. You'll hear my voice going up because I'm so excited. I'm Esmari. Everyone just calls me Es. If you haven't seen me or Anandie yet, we are obviously the Pretoria ambassadors, as Lauren mentioned, and we're super excited to be here and hope to be here more and join in more. So thank you for the opportunity. So as Lauren said, we're the lead ambassadors for Pretoria. We have chapters all over the world, so it's not just in Joburg or Cape Town, to allow us to serve our communities. And Anandie and I have been doing this for 2 years. When you say 2 years, I was like, no, it's not 2, it's 10. It feels like 10 because we live it, we breathe it, we eat it. We love being ambassadors. And we really, I want to say when we joined, it was so organic because we joined Future Females as ambassadors at the exact same time that we started building and growing our own business. And it was literally like, you know, those trees that grow into each other, that's sort of Future Females in our business. Everything that Future Females does and that we stand for, giving first, collaboration, community, action, moving forward, that's sort of not why we joined, but why we love what we do, because it is such an integral part of our business, right, Anandie?
Absolutely. I mean, I joined Future Females Founders Club actually as it launched, right as I left my corporate job, which was very scary and very intimidating. And I realized that it is quite lonely. And it was right at the beginning of COVID, and Future Females hosted their first ever virtual summit in April 2020. And off the back of that, I was just like, I need to be part of this. I don't just want to be somebody who buys a product. I don't just want to sit on the outskirts. I want to be in the muck. I want to be a part of it. I want to make an impact. And I saw that you could sign up to be an ambassador. And what do we say? The rest is pretty much history, because like Esmari said, it's been such an integral part of who we are as women and who we've become as business partners and part of our community leaders. It's just, I mean, we can talk about this forever, but it's so true and dear and near to our hearts what this community stands for, and we love it.
I wouldn't say it's a role. I would say it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is entrepreneurship generally, as well as being an ambassador, I guess. But firstly, Anandie, I remember you from the summit. We had 6,000 people engaging in the summit, but I remembered your name. And when you applied to be an ambassador, I was like 100%, because a summit online is also a community, and you were just giving, which is really what's needed. I want to ask everyone who's tuned in, just pop in the comment, are you building or wanting to build a community around your business or your purpose or your NPO, whatever your vehicle is? Just give us a feel for if it's something you are working on. I'm going to get really real really quickly, because this is what the whole point of this session is about. Guys, we've spoken before about not building a community for money, but rather community building being for love. And 5 years into Future Females, this could never be more true. Like, yes, I truly believe that building a community around your business can be a massive competitive advantage, because products can be replicated, but the bond of people, women in our case, united by common values, who've invited their friends in and made connections. It's like, it is this moat that other people can't just quickly replicate. But digging a freaking moat takes a really long time and a lot of energy. So I would just love your reflections on that, and why you are so focused on community, even given that.
Absolutely. So I think it's exactly what you said. There is no quick fix. And there's a lot of, I think, coaches out there these days which say, grow your audience or grow your mailing list or grow your community fast so that you can start selling to them. And I think that is unfortunately one of the most misleading things out there, because it isn't fast, and it definitely isn't without effort and input and daily connection. And that's, I think, the big word here is connection. I mean, even in Future Females, we're such a massive community, which is fantastic, but being so big sometimes lends opportunity to lose connection and to lose touch with people. And I think that is something that is absolutely near and dear to our heart. And for most entrepreneurs, we're always talking about the income producing activities. Community building isn't a direct income producing activity.
Let's be really clear about that now.
Absolutely. And I think that's why a lot of people try to skip this step, because they're like, no, I'll just run an ad, or because I need to make money. But the problem is that the ads, the content that you're even putting out there isn't going to resonate. It's not going to land if you're not building relationships. So connection and relationships is so important. And if you are in any relationship with friends, a partner, family members, it takes hard work. And I think that is really, it is important to us, because now, after 2 years of doing that vigilantly, diligently, consistently, we are seeing the results. And we have amazing community members that, I mean, sometimes we'll meet people for the first time at an event and be like, hi, I'm Anandie. And they're like, yes, I know. And that's always like so surreal and amazing, but it's because we are building those relationships and getting to know our communities. We know their birthdays, we know their family members, we know what business challenges they have. Like, we'll WhatsApp them and be like, I saw you just did a live, I'm so proud of you, well done, you know, this is what I think is really great about it, or here's some tips for next time. So we really try to be actively involved, but that does take time. And because it's a non-income producing activity, you have to balance that out with the rest of your business activities. You also have quite a strong opinion on this, how important it is.
No, definitely. And I just want to say I'm loving all of the engagement. Thank you so much for everyone who's sharing their comments. This is awesome. I'm just one of those people, I want to read and answer all of them. So I'm going to take a backseat on that. But I wanted to say that, sometimes when you build a community, and this is not just when you're launching, this is in general when you're building a business. I think people are so stuck on vanity metrics. Like, I've got 1 billion followers. Okay, great. And how many of those people would actively come and walk alongside you and grow and help you grow and build your business because they truly believe in what you are and what you stand for? And how many of those people would literally say, I don't just like the way you look, I really believe in you and your vision. And as soon as you look at that, then suddenly those big numbers aren't as big anymore. And that's sort of what I wanted to share is, as a practical tip, is sometimes you have to almost downscale to scale up. So you have to really niche down. And this is something that Anandie and I feel like a broken record. We preach about it all the time. It's really understanding your niche and understanding the people, your tribe, the people that you are catering for, the people that you want to work with, and your clients that you want to speak to. Yeah. Because once you understand that, you can really scale down. And that's what we did. We said, we don't care about hosting these massive events and it looks great, right? But the reality is there's no connection. There's no realness. It just looks great. And that's sort of what I would say to anyone out there. Sometimes don't be fooled by the vanity metrics and saying you've got a massive community, but you don't know those people, they don't know you, and there's no real connection. Sometimes you have to go smaller first before you can go bigger in the long run, if that makes sense.
I'm sitting in a studio at the moment because we're doing some content filming today. If I turned my laptop, you guys would see a suitcase with like 50 items of clothing. But it's a really good point you make, Esmari, and I can see Leonora saying the same in the chat. It's better to have 10 interactions with 100 people than 1 interaction with 1,000. And it really takes the same effort often. That's how you build a real relationship. And obviously in a business, we do have an end result, which is making a customer or a really engaged community member and advocate. And you can't do that with a single touch point or with a really shallow engagement. So that's something that I've always really admired about your principles. And just bringing it back to the platform that we're launching, which I know most of the people tuned in do know about. But to give you a little bit more of what's going to be in it related to what Esmari said, community building I think of as an accordion. And to explain what I mean, you get bigger and bigger, but it loses relevance and it loses engagement. And then you have to bring it back and find that small engaged group again. But then because it's so engaged, it grows. And it kind of is this constant process of how do we keep becoming more relevant? And so we reached a point where we were like, actually, we can't do this on a Facebook group because it's so big. If you jump into these mega Facebook groups now, including ours, you're like, but who in these thousands of people do I really want to connect with and who can really help me? And the same with like an Instagram community. So what we've been building in this platform is actually sub-communities within the larger community. So you can connect with the Pretoria team, you can connect with the coaches if that's you, or the digital nomads or whatever it is. So if you're not on the platform waitlist, this is a good segue to go and sign up. You can see the link in the caption on every single platform that we're live on now. So guys, the other thing that I really want to dig into with you is the practical steps, right? Adding some value for the people tuned in here. And what the other thing that I love about the Future Females model, but how you guys execute it, is the offline touch points. As a digital marketer, I think like it's fair for me to say I love the online connection, but it just cannot beat having a connection in person, hugging someone, toasting your champagne. This is clearly carrot juice, but toasting something. That's hard to replicate, and often the offline relationships then become the most strong online ones. So maybe you can share I know you've been experimenting a lot in your chapter. What has been working in that kind of offline online space?
Anandie, do you want to jump in? Okay. Usually we fight to speak when we do our own live, so that's why we're being very polite today, as you can see. Yes, I think it's so true what you said, Lauren. in person, I mean, digital is great, and we'll always keep on connecting digitally because it definitely allows us to reach people who maybe can't get to us in person. But when you look at the in-person events, I think something that is truly important is the fact that you have to care. It sounds super simple and stupid, but you know what? One thing that I've noticed is sometimes I've attended events, not Future Female events, but other events, and you have the speakers and the people that are part of the organization, and they're up here, and everyone else is down here, like they're speaking at people, and you're like down here, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to sit and watch, and you feel very disconnected, right? You feel like I'm attending an event, they're living their glamorous lives, and I'm just down here attending the event. Not always, but there's that feeling of separation. And I think one thing that Anandie and I always advocate is being real. And this is not just at events, this is just a general principle in our business as well, is, we can really connect when we are ourselves. You don't have to put up a persona or a fake identity, and just being real. And we love sharing things, our lived experience. So things that we've actually gone through, struggled through, and we're very honest about it. So when we meet up with community members, instead of just speaking from a place of like, I know this and I know that, we really, and exactly what we're doing today and what you do, Lauren, very often is we speak through the struggle. And I think that is so important, is being able to, when you meet up with people, number one, really care, like be interested. Don't go, if you're hosting an event, or you're meeting up with clients, or whatever it might be, is go in with a mentality of serving someone instead of what can I get out of it, right? Because that's why we do what we do.
Yes.
And it's an honor and a privilege to serve. Never forget that. And then the second thing I would say is being real and being vulnerable. And don't be scared to say, listen here, I'm struggling. I need help. I'm not saying you will always be struggling, but it definitely makes for a better connection point. And once you let your guard down and stop showing what you think people want to see and show the real you, it's so much easier to build that solid connections and really connect with people.
I think what is so important is like what Esmari says. So what you're seeing today on the video, what you see on our lives, what you see on our reels, what you see at an in-person event, what you see at a business meeting, and what you would see if you met us for coffee, we would always be the same. Hopefully high energy, lots of bubbliness and friendliness. We are always the same. And if we do have an off day, which we share sometimes, you'll see that. You'll see the real part of it. And at events, like Esmari says, we do share the struggle. Like I am very open about the fact that I when I first left my corporate job, I went through a bit of a depression and I didn't know what to do. And that's when I found Future Females and realized the community, the network that is needed. And even these days, as an entrepreneur, business owner, there's difficult times. I talk about mindset a lot, but sometimes mindset just isn't enough. If you've had a bad day, sometimes you just need a chocolate and some Netflix and to chill. And you know what? Tomorrow is another day where you can be productive and give yourself some grace and kindness. So we're always the same. We are always sharing the reality. And then we connect with our community better. We are able to help them more. But I think what is also important in community structures is to ask questions, is to reach out. And this one might be a bit scary, but go with me here, is to be vulnerable. Like, don't feel like people are judging you, because hopefully if you're in a safe community, such as Future Females, people are not judging you because they're probably feeling the exact same way. But we've noticed that people don't want to stand up. They don't want to ask a question. They don't want to raise their hands because they're so afraid of being judged. But guys, none of us have our stuff together 24/7. We all have bad days. So I think that's very important, is engage with your community. So don't, like, your leaders or the team that's guiding you is amazing, but engage with the rest of your community, because there's such beauty in the potential collaborations or support that you can get from that, and get that tribe of cheerleaders behind you. That is so important. And I would say that is a very important step for anyone that's part of a community as well. Engage, ask questions, because then we also know how to support you back, because we know what you need and we can give that to you.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing a lot of people commenting, about those tips. So thank you guys, but particularly about being vulnerable. And what I've noticed as a community leader, but also just as a leader in your business or even in your company, you set the tone for the rest of your community. So if you arrive and are willing to be vulnerable, then you're giving permission for all other community members to be vulnerable. And we have a rule in our programs at Future Females, which is get naked fast. And it's not your Netflix and chill, Anandie. Good advice for stress relief. But what get naked fast means, like, if we're going to be here to support each other, then let's do each other the respect of sharing the real problem. Like, what is the most juicy, emotional, heart-wrenching issue that's actually holding me back? It's not like, oh, I haven't had time this week. No, it's like, I am struggling with crippling self-doubt. Like, help me. Because that's the level that people can really connect on and where, the transformation can happen. So I think you guys do it so well, showing up as you, really being, obviously you want to set a positive tone for your members, but also just making it okay for them to be not okay too.
Definitely.
And I love one of the comments here. Nontando is saying her biggest challenge is being vulnerable, but she's working on it. And that's amazing. You don't have to do all of it at once, little steps as well. As you get more comfortable asking specific questions and as you start trusting the people that you're surrounding yourself with, that's also a big step. So every small step forward is a step towards success. So well done.
Yay!
Yes, absolutely. I do want to encourage on that note for you to please ask your questions. If you have questions about starting a community, hosting your community, maybe online tools or how to host offline community events or anything else, please do pop it into the chat. And I'm gonna throw it at Anandie and Esmari for you. While they're coming in, let me ask you guys, you both do a lot. I know the work of an ambassador. You're about to take on even more at Future Females. So quick spoiler for people, but I'm excited for what's coming. And you have your own business and you do many other things too. So what is it that really fuels you and how do you keep going?
Anandie?
I think if I can take this one first, it's making an impact. It sounds cliched and it sounds cheesy, but hopefully, if you know me and Esmari, making an impact is really the core of what we do. And the biggest reason here is that we feel if we can make a difference in one person's life, showing up, helping them, making a difference, teaching them something. First of all, we're an example for other people to do the same with their area of expertise. But it's going back to the old, very cliched idea of paying it forward. Once again, if we can make a difference in one person's life and they feel empowered, they can make a difference in another person's life. And it really comes down to everything we do. And that's what Esmari said, being an ambassador is not a role. It's not a task that we fulfill. It's a core part of our purpose, of who we are. And that is why when we created our business, helping entrepreneurs building their online businesses with marketing and sales and strategy, it really is absolutely integrated because everything we do comes from the purpose of empowering, making an impact, and making a difference because we truly believe it at our core. And it gives me personally so much energy when we're chatting to someone and we've given them advice. And this happened recently. So we have a little WhatsApp group for Future Females Pretoria. And one of the ladies that we worked with, we gave her some tips on social media and her online business. And then it's been a few months. And then somebody else asked in the group a question around it. And she just came at them with all this advice and all these tips. And I'm like, wow, I love that. That is amazing. And that is the core of what we do. If we can make a difference in one person's life and that can pay it forward, that really is why we do what we do every single day.
Anandie, you have summarized it so well.
It's so funny. In my Uber yesterday with my content manager who's visiting me at the moment, I was talking about a WhatsApp group that I'm also in. And I was like, it's called Needs and Leads, which is also a group that we're going to create and house within the new platform, where if you have a need, you post and you get a response within 24 hours. If you have a lead or an opportunity, you can share with the community. And I was saying, like, I love it when someone posts a need that I can help with. It's like an adrenaline rush. I'm literally like, yes, this one I can respond to. How else can I help? And that's kind of the energy that, I mean, I feel from you, but I do think you get in a community, but particularly when you curate a community that is on the same journey and with the same values. I think if you go too broad, and as a tip, I see some people are just starting, if you go for a really broad community, like all women, it's a lot harder because people join and they're like, is this for me? What is this a space actually for? But if you go, it's for women in the early stages of building a business, a lot of them are solopreneurs, like get as niche as you can because that's where the relevance lies for others. There's a few questions here, guys. So I think
can I quickly address Charlene's question?
I was
think
going
it's
to
such
do
a
the exact
valuable one. So Charlene's saying that it looks like connecting with community is easy, but it does not come easy for me. So Charlene, I'm going to share a little secret with you. As I'm sitting here, look how my hand is shaking because I'm an introvert. I find it extremely difficult to appear online. And Esmari and I were at an event recently, and she was like, come, let's go say hello to the winners. And I had pure dread and fear on my face because I was like, no, we can't go up to strangers and say hello to them. This is not our community that we're used to. So it isn't easy. It has purely come with practice. It has also come with surrounding yourself with people that you feel comfortable with. So usually Esmari and I go live and do events together so that I have her as my backup. So that if I hit what do I say now? She kind of comes in. So if you're not comfortable doing it by yourself, then get a tribe that does it for you. Start with small things, a small Facebook group, a small WhatsApp group. We can do voice notes. You don't have to do your face all the time. So I just wanted to highlight that because I think a lot of people feel the same.
Absolutely.
And
I don't know.
I feel like in a video first world that we are in, it's very intimidating and it's a very scary space. But I promise you, small steps, practicing it, surrounding yourself with people that you feel trusting with and comfortable with, you will get better at it. I promise.
Yeah. And I wanted to add to that, Anandie, you're amazing. She's just amazing. Anandie conquers her fears like a ninja. But I wanted to say to you, Charlene, as well, one thing, we actually spoke to a client this past weekend, and we said the exact same thing. She had the same question. And what we said to her is, I really want to encourage you to be you. I know, yet again, it sounds like a cliche, but the reality is that there are thousands of prosperous businesses out there and millions of people doing the same thing, and they're all making money. They're all successful. Why is that? Because even if we do the exact same thing, we do it differently. Lauren and I might have the exact same skills. You might prefer her to me or me to her. And people buy from people. And
Absolutely.
you just need to be the authentic you. And I always say that if you have I believe we all have a gift inside of us that we were meant to share with the world. And if you really go out sincerely with that gift and you're like, you know what, I have this gift inside me. I want to share it. I believe I can make a difference. It doesn't really matter if you're perfect or if you come across the way you feel like you need to come across. If you share that sincerely in your way, people will buy from you.
Absolutely. Yes. And community, it doesn't have to be big. It could be a community of 10 people around you. So I think, if you do find it daunting, just start with the people you already know. Like, I mean, Anandie and Esmari, and they have another team member, and they've all started a business together. So one of the beauties, I think, is that community is mostly an organic strategy. It's going to grow naturally. So I think, you can take a bit of the pressure off.
Yes.
I'm going to pop this question on for you guys. So Joanna, just talking about what do we mean by hosting a community event, but if I can maybe just take it a step further, because you guys in hosting your chapter in Pretoria, but obviously the lessons are shared with the other 56 chapters of Future Females. Yes. We've run very different formats of events, from like roundtable dinners through to expos. So do you want to share just a couple of those formats and what worked and what didn't?
Yes, Maria, I'm going to give it over to you.
Perfect. I think, Lauren, I just want to say that This is obviously something we do within the Future Female community because that's one of the ways that we serve. But you can also use this as a tactic when you are launching a new platform or program. You can use this workshop tool, if I can say it as such, an in-person event to almost kick off or launch what you're doing so people can get to know you. It often works a lot better than just like randomly like launching your platform off the bat. I think what we've done in Pretoria is basically just listen to the community. And we mentioned this the other day. It's not static. I can't tell you, Lauren, I'm doing this. It's the winning recipe forever, or we're doing this. And it's,
I wish that was true.
It doesn't work like that. And that's the thing. You need to keep on listening. You need to keep on asking questions. And that's what we did. We asked people what you want. And one thing that came up is people were like, we love interacting with you one-on-one and actually being able to ask questions. Because if you show up at a big event, hell to the no, I ain't going to come up to you with like 800 people there. So, that's why we said, let's maybe start and create intimate events. So we started doing that, where we did small networking events, 10, 15 people max, and we really facilitated the conversations, the introductions, the speaking points. And we saw how people were starting to open up and really just connect because we weren't the magic ingredients. The people there were. We just facilitated it happening. We created the environment for that to happen very naturally. And then also, yet again, people were asking us that they have small businesses. They don't know how to get their name out there. And obviously, if you're one person, you don't necessarily have the know-how or the reach to do it. So we said, how can we collaborate with one of our other sister chapters, the Joburg chapter? Obviously, we're Gauteng. We work together beautifully. And we basically came together and we said, we want to give the small business owners, especially after COVID, exposure to everyone else. So we sat together, and I'm not going to lie, it's been a mission. It's a lot of hard work, but we managed to host a massive. Well, for us, it's quite big. We had I think 45 exhibitors, which is quite decent. And we hosted an expo, and people said, well, we want to come to an expo. That's great, but there's so many open markets out there that's the same thing. So can't you do speakers that actually equip us and bring the expo side of it? So we basically, like I said, we listened and we applied that principle, and we brought the Gauteng Expo with a bang, and that's what we did. And then the last thing that I want to give over to Anandie is practical workshops. So Anandie, do you want to tell them a bit more about that?
Can I just say one thing about the expo very quickly? Because I came to the expo. I had actually moved to Johannesburg that day. So it was perfect timing. And my fiance and I came through to the expo together. And we walked in and obviously were greeted, took a photo in front of the Future Female sign and kept walking. And I was saying hi to all the stall owners. And my fiance was like, wait, this whole thing is Future Females? He thought that the 2 entry tables was the Future Females stall. And I was like, this entire thing is. So I just want to celebrate you because it was freaking insane. And what did you say? 50 exhibitors. And you had like 800 or a few hundred people actually attending, and your speakers and your workshop. I mean, it really just was amazing. I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely. And that was exactly that. It was creating a platform for people to connect, for people to learn, for people to build those relationships. And then the other format that we look at is, again, listening to our community and doing practical workshops where we can teach them the things that we teach, the things that we talk about, like how to build a community, how to create your ideal client or niche, how to create content. That's a big one at the moment. So we're actually putting together workshops where we then walk through the steps with you, giving you examples, making you think, making the community members think. And that is really what drives us. Again, it's creating that impact, empowering people, and we really just listen. So maybe when you are listening to your community, they need something different. Maybe they need like a dinner, or maybe they need that intimate something. Maybe they need to hear speakers. Maybe they need to come as a question forum, being able to ask questions and get answers from a panelist of speakers. So And again, this can be 10 people, this can be 20 people, this can really be what you want. And I saw one of the questions is, how do you approach a coffee shop or a venue?
Yes.
And that really is, again, coming down to building those relationships. It's finding someone in your community that has a coffee shop, that maybe has a venue, and go to it from a place of honesty, saying, this is what I want to do. Would you like to be a part of it? And how could that look like for you? And you're going to get no's. We've had no's. In fact, when we started Future Females, we had an entire year, obviously barring COVID, but we had an entire year where we couldn't find venues unless they were charging us an arm and a leg, despite the fact that we were coming at it from Future Females and empowerment and trying to help people. They just weren't interested because it was post-COVID. They needed to make money. So we took a year before we had our first in-person event where we could find a partner that we could host that workshop or that event with, that would work smartly. And that first in-person event was absolutely amazing. I still remember the excitement and how amazing it was to meet people in person that we've been meeting for online. But you're going to get no's. That's the point I'm trying to make, is you're going to get no's, you're going to get rejections, but don't let that stop you. Keep building those relationships. Reach out to the community in Future Females. Reach out to like local community Facebook groups like I Love Bryanston or I Love Four Ways. You'll be surprised at how much people do want to help. And if you kind of just start those relationships and those conversations, you can start seeing what the opportunities and possibilities are.
Absolutely. And Lauren, thank you. I've popped your comment up because thank you for sharing. I'm sure you're saying what a lot of people are thinking. And the other thing that I would share is, don't do it alone. I mean, it is daunting, whether it's an event or a massive expo. You'll see, like, Anandie and Esmari are part of a team. When we first launched Future Females, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I had just moved to South Africa. I didn't even know anyone that owned a venue or any speakers. And so I found people who believed in the mission who could help. So Future Females was entirely built from volunteers for the first year before we had any actual employees working. And it sounds like you already have a community of volunteers. So perhaps there's people within that have the skill set who are willing to come on board. Actually, not even willing, really want to step up and take a role with you to pull it together, which was my experience. Gosh, I remember our launch event of Future Females. We thought it would be easy to find female founder speakers, but I guess because it was so hard, that's why Future Females was needed. But it was 2 days before, and I remember Serena and we were phoning shops. We were phoning stores in Cape Town, and I was like, hi, is your boss a woman by any chance? No, okay, next. So what I would say, and just building on what Anandie said, like, you're going to have stumbling blocks, but actually we're always like, immediately after the event ends, and you have that amazing adrenaline, you've made those connections, it really makes it all worthwhile. And then you're energized again to go the next month.
Absolutely.
Also, Lauren, maybe you want to post where you are into the chat. And if anyone is around and wants to connect with you, they can do it right now. Guys, we're almost at time. So quick reminder to everyone tuned in on something before I throw a last question at you. There's a prize, and you can win it by sharing your stories, your experiences, advice, like I can see so many people doing to each other. So thank you for that. I'm going to pick the award winner, and you get your choice of any item of Future Females merch in about 5 minutes. I can see a question here from Charlene that's really good, but I also want to ask you mine. Let's do Charlene's first. How do we balance time when she's already feeling overwhelmed? And I think this speaks to so many women and men, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And this is our theme this month as well, as time management. Yes. And Esmari and I have been talking about this so much. Balancing your time and your energy is what's really ultimately, because we can give you the best time management tips, but it's really finding that balance. But Es, I'm going to hand it over to you because this is something that you are absolutely passionate about and advocate for every single day.
Yeah, no, I think I'm passionate about it because I've really struggled with it. I think that someone like Anandie is great. Like that's one of her strengths. Like mine is speaking to random people. And I think that when you struggle through it, you learn the most. And I can honestly say, Charlene, there's a few tips that I can give you. Is the first one would be, is there's always going to be a catch-22. You need to determine what is more important, or what do you have more of, time or money? Because the reality is, when you're building a business, you won't be able to do it all. So one thing that Anandie and I advocate for is determining, obviously, if you have a limited budget, etc. It's not always as easy, but Lauren always says as well, is really when you start building, get experts to do things that really take away from your time. Because I don't really know what your business does, but let's say, for instance, you're a personal trainer. Obviously, only you can train your clients. So rather pay someone, a VA or a marketing specialist or whoever it might be, to do the other stuff for you, because that's going to lift up a lot of your time. And then also, like Anandie said, tracking your time, and then making notes of what you actually spend your time on. I don't know what your time management looks like, but sometimes we think we're doing a lot of a certain thing when we're actually not. So you need to physically write down every part of your day, or track it with something like Clockify, and track every second. Like I sometimes put in there waste time. Like I wasted time because I was busy daydreaming. I do that. And then you know what you're spending your time on. And then you need to go, and I start every day by having only 3 goals for the day, or 3 tasks, main tasks that I want to complete. And then I drown out all the other noise. And then one other big tip that a lot of people don't do is don't take random calls and things like that. People often phone me any time of the day, and I'll tell you, and I'll say this on an open platform. In our business, we have certain days for client calls, which means that I'm not going to be answering calls left, right, and center, because that takes up your whole day, especially if that's not something that you've set up that way. So it's okay to say no and say, how can I help you? Please pop it on an email, and only check those emails at a certain time of the day. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great advice. I'm trying to escape this sun. The other, it's Clockify, Celeste, just asking for a repeat of that tool. Absolutely love it. I also use Clockify to track my time. I think that the other thing I would add to this, as someone who also feels overwhelmed because I take on way too much, like that's just the reality of my personality. It's like I somehow think that, yes, I can do this other thing. And my fiance's like, are you kidding me? Are you starting another side hustle? Can't we just take a break for a month? But what I've realized as well is that overwhelm, as much as there's practical productivity tips to overcoming it, it's also just a feeling. And so what I practice is just being like, I've got too much on. I'm never going to get to the bottom of my list. I'm never going to read all of my emails, but I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to be at peace that I'm not going to finish everything that's on my plate, and I'm just going to pick it up again tomorrow. So I think that mindset work around it has been a really big game changer for me as well. I found inbox zero very stressful. I don't know if any of you try and do that, but you zero your inbox every day. As soon as I was like, why don't you just not inbox zero every day? It was like a weight had been lifted, and suddenly I was able to focus more on the high value things.
Absolutely.
So, guys, I'm going to ask you the last question, which is obviously linking it back to the Future Females platform, which is, as a collected and extended team, including you and all of our other ambassadors, is what we've been freaking working towards and putting so much of our energy into, and is also really going to bring together the experience for our community members across the global, local, and even offline perspective, bringing all the events in. So I'm really, really excited. For anyone tuned in, if you're not on the wait list, jump on it. There's no obligation. The link is in the chat. You'll get a whole bunch of free stuff. You'll get invited to sessions like this. And also you'll be invited to the platform first. So what's the harm? Anandie and Esmari, I guess I'm also curious on a personal level. What is the number one thing you're most excited for after we've launched in a few weeks?
I think for me, the biggest thing is that everything we've spoken about today, this platform is going to facilitate that. It gives you the opportunity to connect not only locally or location based, which most of the chapters has been the function for over the last few years, but it also gives you the opportunity to either connect with business owners in the same space as you, but also potentially business owners that you can learn from, mentoring or coaching or guiding. There's opportunity to connect in terms of industry. I'm giving some secrets away here, but those are some of the things that I am really, really excited for. And a big thing is because there's going to be the opportunity to learn, it is not in isolation. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of online platforms, DIY courses, some community groups, you can do these courses, but you're doing the course in isolation. And what I'm very excited about, and I mean, this is a core belief and value of Future Females, is the group and the collective, right? So I'm really excited for when we are, opening up new courses or new opportunity for people to learn, that they can do so as a group and learn together from each other, but also be holding each other accountable. And I think in business, that is the most important thing that I know I need, but I've also seen our community needs, is that collective, that accountability, and not doing something in isolation, because it is so easy to become an island and be like, I can sort this out myself. I don't have to ask that question. I don't have to be vulnerable. Whereas I think this platform, and what is really exciting me, is going to facilitate that. It's going to open up those boundaries where people can really start learning together, collaborating, and supporting each other in the right ways.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I just wanted to add that I'm excited for the challenges, because I'm a girl that loves myself a little challenge. And can I tell you, I'm a part of a fitness platform too, and I can't get rid of a challenge. Like, I'm just so excited to think that we can, I mean, if you're competing, then you can actually help each other get better and grow. And I think sometimes we're so disconnected, we don't know what other people are doing. So I'm excited to up our level and up our skill level, and really to be able to learn from people. I know the people that you're getting for the courses are, it's not just some random people out there that you Googled. It's people that you know and that have real learned experience. They've gone through it. So you are going to get that years and years worth of struggle and succeed and knowledge that you wouldn't be able to access otherwise. So yeah.
Also a girl that loves a challenge. I can't wait to be participating in all of them myself. Guys, thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation. I know we could go on and on, but that we're also catching up on Friday. So we will save the rest for then. I'm seeing a few people post in the comments just about where are their Future Females communities. So the first thing I would say is you can go, if you're on our mailing list, then you'll get emailed about all our upcoming events. Otherwise, you can go to the main Future Females Facebook account, and there we co-host all the chapter events. So that's kind of the most central place to see what's coming up. To answer some specifics, I see a couple of people in Cape Town, Eze, hopefully I'm saying your name right, and someone who just moved to Cape Town, Dominique. We do, of course, have a chapter there. Our HQ team is based in Cape Town. Currently, we are delivering something a bit different. It's called the Future Female Show, and the next event is on the 5th of September. So
I feel like we need to come and join you in that, Lauren. #SayMoney.
Oh my gosh, please do. The theme for this month is lifestyle entrepreneurship. So literally, it's all about reframing success, and we're going to be celebrating women who are doing things differently and living really unique but powerful lifestyles and sharing how they've done it. So yeah, please do come along to that. I saw someone saying Somerset West. We don't have an active chapter there, so apologies you haven't had a response. I'm going to pop our email in the chat. And if you have any questions, or if you're trying to get in touch with a chapter, or if you want to become an ambassador, you can pop us through on that email. I also saw we have an upcoming ambassador live with us now. I think it was Monique Paver. So welcome. Have you already gone through the ambassador interview? So I know we're working with you right now to launch your chapter. So can't wait to connect with you personally as well. I think all that's left to do is to award our prize winner.
Yay!
And let me just find one of your comments, of which they are many. Our winner is Lauren Jansen. Yay! Thank you,
Yay.
Lauren. Really, really, I mean, it's always nice to have this much interaction. I love this session and the real conversation we get to have. Thank you for sharing your journey, your struggles, a bit about your business and where you're based. Really wishing you the best for the event and hope you've got some volunteers already connecting with you. So please, will you DM us your email address and the team will be in touch so we can arrange to send you out your prize.
Yay.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, then, thank you. Thank you, Anandie and Esmari, for joining me.
And thanks
Thank
to
you,
everyone
everyone,
who
for their time.
participated and asked questions.
Absolutely. And guys, join me next week. It's going to be the same time, same place, whichever channel you're on, we will be there. I'm being joined by one of my team members, Rakea, who just has an amazing personal story. She is both running her own course as well as working within Future Females. We had such an interesting meeting as well. And she is literally the most organized, quick, and diligent worker that I have come across. I say she's my spirit animal, but I think it's aspirational. But I'm very excited to introduce her to you and really share some things around the administrative side of the launch and how to do things really efficiently from a process and a tool and also a mindset perspective. So join us next week. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.